throat right here. This is, do or die.
You don't really get much for showing up, but to have a chance at 150,000 and only 6 guys, I mean, that's pretty incredible. The 5 guys here with Chris and Parker and Doug and Michael and Norm, they're some of the best our game's ever seen.
Here are 6 men, and formidable they are, and it's going to take an unbelievable performance to outlast.
You're out there to perform. You're out there to do the best you can and try to put a show on for everybody that's watching at home.
You keep it compartmentalized to what it is, trying to hit a target 15 feet away and not about all of the extra distractions.
There's no strategy. There's nothing to plan. You just go out and you just got to go get it.
We welcome you to Central Florida, where today a winner-take-all jackpot of $150,000 is on the line at the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. Inside Colonial Lanes in Orlando, 6 of the game's best have gathered for a shot at the PBA's biggest paycheck. Here's a look at today's format, and we begin with the opening round. The 2 highest rollers of a single ball roll-off automatically move to our semifinals. The 4 that don't receive the bye get placed into a head-to-head 6-frame elimination round where the maximum score is 180. Those 2 winners advance to our semifinals. The season's tour is over, but there's still one last opportunity to cash a massively fat paycheck. Rob Stone, Randy Peterson with you for ESPN's coverage of the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. And an intriguing format today, and intriguing stat line in the sense that as the paycheck increases, so do your odds of actually winning this one.
Yeah, I think Norm Duke put it best when he said, guys, I had to beat 490 guys to win the U.S. Open and 100 grand. Today I only have to beat 5 to win $150,000. He said he likes those odds much better.
But those 5 guys he has to beat, awfully tough. Everyone here for a specific reason. All of the winners of our 4 majors are here, including Sean Rash, who won the first major of the season in Milwaukee.
Sean Rash won the 2007 USBC Masters. The 25-year-old right-hander is undefeated on television for standard events. And with 4 titles to his credit, this past season was his finest. Michael Haugen Jr. got here by winning the Tournament of Champions. Against Chris Barnes, Haugen mounted a monumental comeback to win his first major by 1 pin.
You never give up. You never give up.
With 5 weeks to go in the season, Norm Duke went on an unbelievable tear, winning not 1, but 2 majors. Which one was the biggest win? I'll let Norm tell you.
Oh, the U.S. Open, baby.
Doug Kent knows what it takes to win the big money. After a disappointing season, this defending champion looks to get back on the roll to riches. Hey, you fans voted, and Parker Bohn is here to stake claim to his riches. The veteran southpaw won for the 31st time earlier in the season in Spartanburg after going winless in his last 61 events. When there's big money on the line, you can bet Barnes isn't far behind. He thrives on these fat dollar events. This reigning player of the year won not 1, but 2 Roll to Riches events.
That is the luckiest shot I've ever had in my life right there.
Luck is certainly an integral factor in today's broadcast. Michael Haugen Jr. will roll first of our 6 competitors. He, in essence, drew the short straw of the 6 competitors. He was the lowest on the PBA World Point Rankings list. 9.
I'd take another 8 weeks off with that one.
Michael hampered by an injury to his index finger on his bowling hand.
I think 9's safe, though.
Missed the final 6 events of the season. It was on his middle finger of his right hand. Here's Doug Kent, last season's Player of the Year.
And that's how you do it. The Motel 6 roll to riches. Check your spare game at the door.
No need to even travel with your spare ball.
First round, looking good here.
Parker Bohn III won the online
just
fan
like Doug
vote.
Kent.
That's why he's here. This tournament comprised of your 4 majors winners, online fan vote, and the defending champ.
Haugen and Parker with 9s. That was a good shot.
And here's Chris Barnes, who is here essentially on a technicality, did not win one of the majors, was not the defending champ of the Motel 6 Roll to Riches, but because Norm Duke won 2 majors, that meant the top 2 fan vote finalists were able to come to the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. Barnes finished second.
And this could be over real quick if everybody keeps getting 9.
Here's Sean Rash, who opened up this season, at least on American soil, by winning the USBC Masters up at Miller Park in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Yikes.
Let's take a look at our Etonic edge with Sean Rash, the prototypical power player. Watch the cupped wrist at the top of the swing, gets the feet moving real fast, and unloads on it right at the bottom of the swing. Unfortunately, he's low on the count list right now with 6.
If Norm Duke can fire a strike here, he and Doug Kent will move on to the semifinals. Messenger was needed there. Woo! Only 1 strike thrown for our first 6 competitors. More opening round coverage of the Motel 6 Roll to Riches when we return to Orlando, Florida. The Motel 6 Roll to Riches is brought to you by Motel 6, official lodging partner of the PBA. We welcome you back to Orlando, Florida, as we take a look at our Roll to Riches opening round. And Doug Kent strike, the high score. Sean Rash 6, the low. Rash has already been moved on to the first elimination round. That's not a good thing. That's something you're hoping to avoid. Let's see who the other 3 are that will join him. And there is Rash. He can sit for now, but he will be bowling, and bowling again very soon.
All right, 8 weeks. Been a long time. Hit the right side of the hip pin this time.
8-week layoff for Michael Haugen Jr. Missed the final 6 events on the Denny's PBA Tour due to a finger injury.
Still can't hit the right side of the hip pin. Wow.
And it's funny, Randy, watching this event, that the competitors are so loose here in this opening round, but in essence, you're fighting to make this not a 1 out of 6 event, but a 1 out of 4 event. This is a freebie to the semis.
Right, you're trying to bypass that first round of elimination. Doug Kent knows all about that real well because he did it last season when he won this event.
Had a strike the first time, now a 9 for Doug Kent as we take a look at our Lumber Liquidators Know the Wood, and it's the Cheetah Oil pattern.
Cheetah, 35 feet in length, very short. The outside part of the lane is very dry, a little bit of oil in the middle part of the lane, and the characteristics of this oil pattern is firm ball speed and throw it right into the dirt, right into the dry part of the lane, but you better keep your ball speed up or you won't get it into the pocket. Parker Bohn III won on this pattern in El Paso a couple years ago.
And the lone lefty drops all 10.
And I think the interesting thing to note is that we're bowling on a wood surface here, albeit a good wood surface, but it's still wood. Parker's got the left side of the lane all to himself. He doesn't have to worry about transition.
Just so you guys know, I'm completely lost. Here's Chris Barnes, this year's PBA Player of the Year. Had 11 top 10 finishes. Big strike for Barnes there. If there is such a thing as home lane advantage here in the Motel 6 Roll to Riches, Norm Duke has it from Claremont, Florida, not too far away here from Orlando. A 9 or a strike, and Michael Haugen Jr. gets knocked down. There's your strike. So Haugen Jr. now joins Sean Rash in the first elimination round. All right, we begin our next round, the opening round. It's a lot of rounds here, Randy. You really got to be sharp here to follow this at times. So Kent drops 9.
And not a lot of strikes being thrown early on.
Just 4 total so far.
Yeah, this is a real scoreable pattern, cheetah pattern. Right now, looks like Parker Bohn III has the best look.
So that strike ensures that Bohn will not be eliminated in this round. PBA.com is your best source for all the latest PBA news, including information about PBA Experience bowling leagues. And those leagues are a joint venture between the PBA and USBC. They give league bowlers the chance to bowl in the same oil patterns the pros compete on each week. Go to PBA.com and click on the PBA Experience link. Chris Barnes.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Stone 8.
That 5-pin still on spot.
Watch this bowling ball going to go right by the 8-pin.
5 sits right sometimes. Wow.
If Norm strikes here, he and Parker Bohn will move on to the semifinals. Doug Kent and Chris Barnes will be left to languish in the elimination rounds.
You make it sound like
punishment.
Yeah, it's like the end of the world.
Well, you know, you have to. It makes it that much harder to get your $150,000. Norm Duke has been dialed in though since the U.S. Open. What an outing he had! Kick it! Oh. Messenger!
Remember, he finished second in this event last season. Now watch this. Headpin's going to go to the sidewall. We call this the bird dog. Watch it go to the sidewall. It's coming across. Get out of my face, 10-pin.
The Messenger delivers the strike that Duke needed. Take a look at our scoring update. All that really means, and all you really need to know, is that Parker Bohn III and Norm Duke have advanced to the semifinals, which means our first elimination round is set, and we'll begin that duel when we return to Orlando. Welcome back to ESPN's continuing coverage of the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. 84 titles and 12 majors have been earned between our 6 contestants. And we are just about set to kick off elimination round number 1, which will face Michael Haugen Jr. taking on last year's Player of the Year, Doug Kent. Elimination match number 2, Sean Rash versus this year's Player of the Year, Chris Barnes. Parker Bohn III and Norm Duke have already moved on to the semifinals. And Randy standing by with Kent and Haugen Jr.
Thanks, Rob. Michael, first of all, congratulations on a tremendous season. But unfortunately, you injured your middle finger and missed the last 6 weeks of the tour. Give us an update.
Well, basically lots of pain. I tore the cartilage, and you can see it's kind of bent. Hurts like hell, but you know what? It's a big money tournament. You got to show up and bowl.
Good luck, Michael. Doug Kent, defending champion. What kind of an advantage is it for you coming into this event as the defending champ?
I don't think there's any advantage, Randy, at all. Chris Barnes has won this twice. Norm just coming off a U.S. Open win. There's no advantage. This is a really, really tough field, a lot of experience. It's going to be tough.
Thanks, Doug. Good luck.
Doug mentioned Chris Barnes has won this tournament twice. He also won the Denny's PBA Player of the Year points race. This is the first season in which a point system was utilized to determine a winner. Interesting season in that 6 bowlers won 2 titles this season. Pretty much Chris Barnes and Walter Ray Williams Jr. went back and forth with the lead for the PBA Player of the Year, and Barnes had it when it mattered most at the end of the U.S. Open. So we begin now with elimination round number 1. Michael Haugen Jr. to go first, taking on Doug Kent. 6-frame match. The winner to take on Parker Bohn III in the semis. Wow. He has had trouble finding the pocket all day long. And that may have been his best toss.
When I was down there before the interview, I was watching the guys warming up, and Michael had no problem hitting the pocket. I think he's starting to feel a little bit of the nerves thinking about the 150 grand he has a chance to win.
Those dollar signs start dancing in your head. Beware.
Oh, yeah.
Get them both.
We'll take a look at our Motel 6 matchup. Michael Haugen Jr. Really a career year for him, earning his first title and his first major in the same season. Doug Kent had a career year last season. This year, well, it was really a struggle all season long. Just 2 top 10 finishes, but he did finish 4th at the 65th edition of Denny's U.S. Open.
Yeah, an outstanding year for Doug Kent last season. Winning the 2 majors, leading the tour in money, winning this event. Dream season.
So both pick up the spare as we move on to the second frame of this 6-frame match. Doug Kent, last season's money leader, earning over $200,000 this season on television. 0 for 1, just 1 TV appearance, and it came in our final event of the season, the U.S. Open. The Motel 6 roll to Rich's defending champ hits that one face first, right into the nose.
And generally on the cheetah pattern, you play a little bit further to the outside part of the lane, and this left lane looks like it's on fire. Nice break, only leaving the 3-pin. But there looks like there's a ton of friction on this wood surface, 35-foot cheetah pattern.
Only 3 of our 6 bowlers in the Motel 6 roll to Riches have ever won on the cheetah pattern. Doug Kent, one of those. Parker Bohn and Sean Rash, the others.
Okay. Huh? Yeah, I know. I was telling Dougie.
And we give way now to Michael Haugen Jr., won the 2008 H&R Block Tournament of Champions in Las Vegas, which earned him his ticket here to the Roll to Riches, and beat it in a wild finish versus Chris Barnes.
In a minute, I'm having to throw it for me because I'm not doing
Coming up right after this broadcast, we'll have the conclusion of the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. A long Sunday block of bowling coming your way today. Haugen, 4 top 10 finishes this season, including 2 titles.
Oh, it's got a chance. Look, look. Hey, what do you know?
By far his best shot of the day.
But I tell you what, you would think with this much friction and that outside angle, this would be right in Michael Haugen's wheelhouse. You'd think he'd do a lot of this right here.
So Haugen with a 1-pin lead. We begin the 3rd.
Oh, it's got to push.
That's a tough lead.
Short-term memory.
A little soft and a little left on the hooking lane.
Oh, man.
Now he's looking to get the ball to the left side of the 4-pin and slide it into the 10 to convert the 4-7-10.
Make a run.
Christmas came early.
Christmas came early for that man, perhaps, Doug Kent. Michael Haugen Jr. finding the gutter, but I'll tell you what, he's found an unbelievable doctor. We'll tell you about the enviable doctor's orders that Haugen Jr. received. Seriously, I hope this doctor's on my HMO plan. This guy's fantastic. We welcome you back to Colonial Lanes in Orlando, Florida. Our continuing coverage of the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. Elimination round number 1 continues as we take a look at 2 lucky fans who got upgraded, courtesy of Aaron's Rent, sitting in the dream seats. Nice recliner. I was able to pop into one of those earlier today. Kick back, good-looking crowd here in Orlando as we continue with Haugen and Kent. Haugen just through an open frame 7, opening the door for Kent, who's been strike so far in this abbreviated 6-frame match. Both bowlers struggling with this cheetah pattern.
That's just a bit firm. Doug gets it in a good spot. You can't be soft on this hook and oil pattern, and this one just pushes a little too far down the lane, leaving a 2-8-10.
45.
Right now, the players are scratching their heads going, you know, I thought this pattern was supposed to be easy. It's the highest scoring pattern we use all year.
For the 3rd season in a row, this cheetah pattern, the highest scoring as far as the television average is concerned. This year it registered a 233.10. And Haugen Jr. still chewing on that open frame 7 in the 3rd. One pin lead for Kent. And neither bowler making it easy on themselves.
Wow, just when it looked like Doug Kent was really going to put the heat on Michael Haugen Jr., he goes back-to-back opens unless he converts the 4-6. Right through the nose and not real happy.
How do you attack this 4-7 or 4-6 rather?
Try to slide the 4 or the 6 over into to either pin. It's let me just say that I've made that probably half as many times as I've made the 7-10. That's how tough that is. Remember, we only have 6 frames, not 10 frames. And right now, Michael Haugen Jr. getting up in the 4th frame with a 10-pin lead.
Chris Haugen Jr. missed the final 6 events of the season due to a finger injury, his middle finger on his right hand. He was rolling in a...
A little soon on the ham bone, guys.
Super Bowl charity event. Using a house ball and had an odd release. Ball actually hit the floor and then bounced back up into his finger.
I think the good news for Michael Haugen Jr. is that he gets the finish on this right lane. He struck both times on the right lane. He's yet to strike on the left lane, but he finishes the 6th frame on that right lane.
That was his 2nd strike of the match. So basically, he's just been resting that middle finger.
Come on.
Another strike for Haugen Jr.
Roll, Raggy.
So he's been resting that middle finger, right? And the doctor said, hey, you know, give it a couple weeks. Here's an idea on how to build strength on it. Go play golf. Doctor's orders. Go play golf. Seriously, can I get that doctor on my health coverage plan? Ma'am, your husband needs to rehab on the couch, by the cooler, keep fresh batteries by the remote, keep the children out of the house. I mean, that's a doctor.
Yeah, we've got to find this guy.
Serious.
Rob, could you imagine how much
more golf
he could
please?
give us?
Rehab on the golf course? Oh. Kent in a 20-pin hole. That'll start digging his way out of it.
Yeah, it must strike time now for Doug Kent. If he strikes out the 6th frame, he'll shoot 114. If you cut the lead to 10 with a strike right here in the 6th frame, that was a pretty good shot there. All 10 back in the pit. Now, what's going through Doug Kent's mind right now is, what the heck do I do on this left lane?
Left lane so far has been 9 spare, and an open frame 9. Back-to-back jacks for Kent.
Bartender.
Make it a double.
Attaboy. All right, strikes out. He shoots 114. Michael Haugen Jr.'s got a 134 if he strikes out. But this is the biggie right here for Doug Kent. He can tie the match with a strike here, pull all even. He's got to have this one.
The 6th frame, essentially the 10th frame of a normal match. He found it. Found the pocket. Is it too late, though?
And 6 frames instead of 10 because this is the Motel 6 roll to riches.
Yes, I've been noticing a theme with the 6s.
And if Doug Kent strikes on his fill shot here in the 6th frame, he'll have a 4-bagger or a...
I don't know. I'm not. Is there another term for a 4-bagger?
Well, the fans will let you know.
Oh.
Well, that's a huge shot. Now, what that does is it forces Michael Haugen Jr. to strike on the first ball to win this match. Anything less, Doug Kent will win sitting on the bench. Michael Haugen Jr. has to strike first ball in the 6th frame right here. Has not missed on this lane.
Misses there.
Till now.
Oh, well, good luck, Doug.
Great finish by Doug Kent. Put all the pressure on Michael Haugen Jr. And you got to ask yourself, you know, how much is that injury affecting what Michael Haugen's doing out there?
I think to a high level.
I think you're right, because this is Michael Haugen Jr.'s bread and butter.
We saw him really struggling in the open round as well to find the pocket.
Oh, that wasn't too smart.
So Doug Kent moves on, where he will face Parker Bohn III in our 2nd elimination round, which is, in essence, the semifinals.
Battle of the brother-in-laws.
Haugen finishes with a strike and a 112, 2 pins less than Doug Kent. So Doug Kent moves that much closer to $150,000. Chris Barnes versus Sean Rash next. Barnes won Player of the Year honors, but where does the season stand on his resume in his eyes? We'll tell you when we return. PBA Tour has stopped in Orlando only once. That came in 2003. Some of the best from the PBA here today for the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. Elimination round number 1 continues. Doug Kent has moved on to the 2nd elimination round. Up next, Chris Barnes taking on Sean Rash, and Randy Peterson standing by laneside with those two. Randy?
Barnes, what happened to the sunscreen?
Playing golf with you yesterday, you just wanted to take my money and make me feel painful, and you know, I got the Florida suntan right now, and we'll take home with it.
All right, buddy. Hey, good luck. I beat him in golf real bad, too. Chris Barnes, you've made more money in this event than most of the pros have made in their entire career. In fact, I think Motel 6 is going to put both kids through college. What's next?
Yeah, I don't know, but we're going to stay a little bit more often at the chain, I'm telling you that. This thing has been great for me. They called me the gimmick guy for a little while. I may have got a little payback earlier today, so I have to bowl an extra match, and we'll see if I got anything left.
All right, Chris, good luck. Thanks.
This is Barnes' 3rd Roll to Riches appearance. He is a 2-time winner. And this season's Player of the Year will start first, taking on the young gun, Sean Rash. I asked Barnes about this season. He said, not my best season of the career. That was 2000. But described it as his most satisfying. Cleared a couple hurdles on television, scratched and clawed his way to a couple titles as well. through the nose, and fortunate 8 went down.
Yeah, you're right, Rob. Fortunate not to have a big ugly split looking at you. And again, remember, there's only 6 frames. It's the Motel 6.
Hence 6 frames.
Thank you. And look at that. Motel 6, spare ball.
There's some product placement here today.
Oh, geez.
Oh, my Lord. Did he take the wrong spare ball?
That wasn't on purpose.
Not a foul because he held onto the ball. I have to see if his shoulder is still in socket.
Well, you know, you've seen Chris do this when he doesn't want, or doesn't feel right. Now, let me tell you how tough that is. He went out on the lane where it's full of oil and still stood upright. He didn't go down.
Well, this ought to be
interesting. He's got oil on his shoes.
Right.
Not sure if that ball's going to come off his thumb.
Well, some sparring.
The spare balls were just drilled for this competition today. Way to go, Chris.
That's a nice spare pickup. So we take a look at our Motel 6 matchup. Then Chris Barnes was second in the online fan vote, taking on Sean Rash, who punched his ticket by winning the USBC Masters, the first tournament on American soil of the PBA season that just concluded. Here is Rash, 3rd season on the tour.
His arms looked like he was putting sunscreen on in the dark. He's a good kid, though. A lot of fun. We had a great time yesterday. Mike Edwards played with us as well, along with my buddy Earl. And we just had a good old time, man.
Sean used the cheetah suntan oil pattern, apparently. A little spotty with his coverage. You know, they don't get a whole lot of sun up there in Anchorage, Alaska, my friend. Lives now in Wichita, Kansas. You could probably say the same for Wichita. And I don't think a lot of people head to Wichita to get bronze.
But, you know, early on it was a little bit of overcast, and Sean's like, hey, where's the Florida sun I heard all about? And
Corey's shine on his head kind of got me.
Assistant tournament director Corey distracted Sean.
Karma, man.
That's cold.
That's cold-blooded. There's Corey.
Don't take that, Corey.
Don't take that stuff, Corey.
Randy can loan you his makeup. Take care of that shine.
So anyway, as I was saying, so Sean says, hey, where's the sun?
Don't turn the light off.
He started rolling up his sleeves, and he says, man, I need to get some sun. And I said, don't worry.
Rookie.
Don't worry.
Florida
you
rookie.
Will. That lane's got some curve to it, sir.
It sure does.
It's got some fire to it.
And again, the driest part of these lanes with this cheetah pattern right by the gutter.
Yeah, and right now it's also getting dry up front, and it's getting more and more difficult to get the ball to go far enough to the right. If that bowling ball hooks early, it's not going to continue to the right. It's going to check and start going back to the left.
One other thing to keep in mind about the oil pattern today is that it's a very low ceiling here at Colonial Lanes, which means the television lights that much closer to the oil, making things break down just that much earlier.
Where did you get that?
I'm learning.
So on top of
I'm learning every week, man. Barnes drops them all. I am like a sponge.
I want to know where you got that from, sir. Take a look at this shot right here. This is pretty good stuff. And again, a lot of friction. All you need is good direction and some pretty good ball speed for that bowling ball to hold line. Notice Chris Barnes using 2 different bowling balls because that left lane hooks a lot more than the right lane.
There we go.
10-pin party in the pit. Back-to-back jacks for Barnes as we head to break. And Sean Rash has an awfully busy summer ahead of himself. We'll fill you in on his itinerary next, plus conclude Barnes versus Rash in the elimination round. We welcome you back to the Motel 6 Roll to Riches from Orlando, Florida. Colonial Lanes, the host venue, and we would like to thank Cliff Couch, the GM here at Colonial Lanes. Cliff on the left and his son on his left. Screen right, Jason Couch. That's a good bowling family right there. 15 career tour titles for Jason Couch. Coming up a little bit later today, the PBA Skills Challenge. Randy, you and I had some fun with this one.
Yes, we did. I think there were live animals involved in a taping of this show.
Or at least the subject matter of live animals was brought up. You'll have to stick around to watch and listen and find out what exactly in the world we are talking about. It's pretty much the norm for us anyways.
We had a pretty good time, but then again, when don't we?
Strike spare so far for Rash in this 6-frame match.
Hello.
Gets all 10 to fall. The unconventional strike.
Speaking of skills challenge, that looked like something you'd use in a skills challenge. Watch this. He's going to get a little high with this shot here, and he's going to trip the 4-7-10 late.
Yeah.
4-7-10.
Long season for the pros on the PBA Tour, and you have to pack in a lot into your allotted vacation time. Coming up for Rash, he's got a wedding in New York, Michael Fagan getting married. Then to Alaska, just for 3 days, he's getting inducted into the Alaska Youth Hall of Fame. Team USA training camp in Colorado Springs, and then to Russia to do some work for one of his sponsors, heading to Moscow and St. Petersburg.
Pretty good shot there. He knew he needed that hit to get back into this match. Now with only 2 frames remaining, although he only trails by 10, Chris Barnes is working on a double.
Rash 7-0 on television in his career. Just 4 appearances. Guns the spare ball and just kicks it out. You see the smirk there, knowing that was a little tighter than he would have liked.
That was a good one.
Now here's Chris Barnes. 11 top 10 finishes this season. Beat Walter Ray Williams Jr. by 2 points in the Player of the Year race. 2 titles, 2 second-place finishes, 2 third-place finishes.
Yeah, there's big trouble in Orlando right now for Sean Rash, as Chris Barnes has now got himself a 3-bagger going into the 5th frame. We call this the Wally, the mixer. Chris Barnes says, you know what? 10's 10.
3 strikes in a row. He's just thrown a turkey looking for a ham bone.
Sorry, Rob. No 4-bagger.
4 what?
4-bagger.
Never heard that term.
But a nice break here. This one gets away from a little bit. He knows it's not going to hold line from that spot. He leaves the 6-10. Let's take a look at Chris's family.
Linda.
And the twins. Oh, go ahead, man.
Troy and Ryan.
Go ahead.
It's good to see. You know, we got a lot of family out here for this event.
There they are. And you know why?
Because we are so darn close to Disney.
The house of the Big Mouse.
Mm-hmm. So spare, strike, 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 spare for Barnes. We begin Rash's 5th now. Strike, spare, strike, spare.
Can't let it go.
Boy, you can see even as fast as Sean Rash can throw it, you pinch it just a little bit at the bottom of the swing and the ball goes left. Very difficult oil pattern that this has turned into because of the lights on this wood surface. The lanes are getting a beating. You touched on it, Rob. Somebody informed you that, you know, if there's more heat, that oil has a certain viscosity to it, just like when you put it in your car engine, and if it heats up, it breaks down. I don't know where you're getting your information from, sir, but you are correct.
Nice use of the term viscosity.
Well, you know. Wait till I get Vortex in there.
Rash can max out at 128. Barnes could do a 148. We begin the 6th. There, get down 10.
Not very often that misses.
Boy, he threw a lot of lumber at the 10-pin there, and it still stood up. Check this out. There's going to be a couple of pins going looking for the 10. Watch this.
Well, Rash has battled a knee issue for much of the season, actually wearing a brace on his left knee. His patella slightly shifted out of place, so he started wearing a knee brace early on in the season. It's
not enough.
It's helped, but it's slowed down what he called a pretty solid season, but I think expectations were so high for the youngster winning the Masters early on in the season.
They got off to such a great start. You know, he still finished 10th in the point list, the world ranking point list. It's nothing to sneeze at. It's a great season for a young man who has 4 career titles and is only in his 3rd year on tour and his 2nd full-time. This guy here knows how to get it done at the Motel 6 Roll to Riches.
Safe, 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 safe. Yuck.
Not pretty, but effective.
Absolutely.
Chris Barnes moves on, taking down Sean Rash. Rash and Barnes will have the 2 highest scores of our opening elimination round, but it'll be Barnes that will move on, joining Doug Kent in the semifinals. 137-117, your final score. Take a look now at our CLR clean sweep, and then it zeroes in on Chris Barnes in the 4th frame. That would make it 3 in a row for Barnes. And that's enough to push him on to the semifinals as we take a look at our updated brackets. Parker Bohn III set to butt heads with Doug Kent. Semi number 2 as Chris Barnes battling this season's U.S. Open champ, Norm Duke. When we return, our championship recap. And we hear from Doug Kent and Chris Barnes. Both are now just 2 wins away from $150,000. $150,000 winner-take-all Motel 6 Roll to Riches. It is the biggest payday in professional bowling, and it rolls on here from Colonial Lanes in Orlando alongside Randy Peterson. I'm Rob Stone. We take a look now at our Geico Championship recap. And we begin in what we call the opening round. And Parker Bohn III, the lone lefty here today, striking. Ditto, U.S. Open champ Norm Duke. Essentially, they won the opening round automatically, moving on to our semifinals. So, our first elimination round pitted Doug Kent versus Michael Haugen Jr. Kent closed with the ham bone. He won 114-112. Then Chris Barnes dueling the young gun Sean Rash. Barnes pretty much had this one in control the entire 6-frame match, winning by 20, 137-117. We go down to Randy, standing by with Barnes and Doug Kent.
Thanks, Rob. Doug Kent, that was a pretty incredible comeback against Michael Haugen. Talk about it.
Well, I got in a little trouble in the 3rd and 4th. I made a couple of bad shots, and you know, he got up and he struck, and I knew that I had to do something here in the 5th and 6th to put a little heat on him to make him squeeze and hopefully, you know, not make such a good shot. So, you know, I did that, and you know, it worked out that way.
And now you take on brother-in-law Parker Bohn III in the semis. Your thoughts?
Right. Well, Parker's a great champion, got a lot of experience, and you know, I won it last year. It's going to be a good match. Whoever wins, you know, it's a bonus.
Thanks, Doug. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
Again. Chris, you know, we're talking about the oil pattern lane conditions. They look like they're on fire. Talk about the lanes and just how dry they are out there.
Well, with all 6 guys out there, there's a lot of traffic. You know, it's a wood center. It's a great wood surface, but it tends to hook in the track like most wood surfaces do. And as it went on, that left lane really started hooking the middle. I tried to go around it, had moderate success. The right lane really wasn't too bad.
Now, in the semifinals, you take on Norm Duke, and, you know, quite honestly, if it wasn't for Norm, you wouldn't be here because him winning the U.S. Open, that got you in. Your thoughts on that upcoming match?
Well, you know, me and my family, we're very thankful to Norm, and if I happen to be in the next match, we'll probably feel bad for 2 or 3 minutes. But really, thanks a lot, Norm.
Hang on a minute. I got to ask the twins one question. Hey, guys, where are you guys going tomorrow?
Disney World!
All right. Thanks, guys.
Well, you thought your bowling day was done. We wrap up our coverage of the Motel 6 Roll to Riches next here on ESPN. It'll be the 2nd elimination round in our title match, which is a race to 6 strikes. Leave your spare ball at home. All we care about are strikes. So the first 2 rounds of the Motel 6 Roll to Riches 2008 edition in the books. Doug Kent lives to roll again. Ditto Chris Barnes, Parker Bohn III, and Norm Duke waiting in the wings. One of those four will walk out of here with a paycheck worth $150,000. For Randy Peterson and our entire crew, I'm Rob Stone. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Coming up next, the conclusion of the Motel 6 Roll to Riches. Put the remote down. More bowling coming your way, starting now.